welcome to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. I'm Karen, this is Dawn, and today we have Christine Manu Wesley with us.
Hello.
Hello. Christine's company is Wisdom Within the Winds.
Yes, that's correct.
And we've had you on the show before
We have.
for oracle card reading.
It was so much fun.
Yay! And your husband has also been on the show.
He has.
Yeah, he's a tarot card reader and a runes reader.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what a fun couple.
Yeah.
Like super couple. Superpower couple. All right, but today we have you on because you wrote an article in Brains magazine.
I did.
And we're going to include a link below. I was so moved by it. And so we wanted to have you on the show today to discuss your condition, which we mentioned in the last episode, which we're going to include up in here. Neurofibromatosis,
Yes.
NF1.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's makes it a little bit easier than
Yes.
my tongue twister, what it's
Right,
called.
yeah.
And we've done episodes on our health conditions and how we look at it from a spiritual perspective. So I think that's why we wanted to have you here today and talk about your condition and how you see it from a spiritual perspective. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your condition to start off?
Okay, so neurofibromatosis type 1, NF1 for short, is a condition that causes tumors to grow internally and externally. So internally, they can grow in organs, they can grow on your spine, pretty much anywhere where there's nerves, the tumors can grow. And then externally, they can grow on my face, they can grow on the body, they can grow on the feet, just pretty much anywhere where you have skins.
Yeah.
They grow, and the condition, it is genetic, so the only way one could be born with this is either one or both parents have it, and when they have a child they carry it on, or they pass it on I should say, or a genetic fluke, which kind of sounds like you should have some kind of cool superpowers or something, but unfortunately in my case it was a genetic fluke. So, and the copying of my parents' genes, it's pretty much oopsie, and this is what happened.
And you weren't, from what I read up on it, most of the time it's diagnosed within the first few years of life, but you weren't diagnosed until you were a teen.
That's correct. Yeah, again, because my parents don't have it, and we didn't even know this existed. And it wasn't until actually, I think I was maybe 15 years old, I actually had a bunch what we thought were just growth on the side of my hip, but actually they were fibromas. But yeah, we had these growths and we got them checked out, and the plastic surgeon was like, okay, yeah, you have this thing called neurofibromatosis, and okay, that's it, kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's not too serious, because he didn't, mention like you should get proper medical care or, get this looked at. And then, so I knew I had this condition, but I didn't think much of it. And it actually wasn't until I was maybe in my early 20s when obviously this thing progressed. Cause I'm like, I'm getting more of these growths all over my body, like what's happening. And of course it's always scary to like look at things online when you've got a condition, but there it is saying that, you can die at an early age, which does actually happen for some cases of people with NF, but I'm reading all these things, like you can go blind, you can go deaf, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like why did this doctor not help guide me to go somewhere or get other help? And yeah, it was just scary, and it was just like, well, how do I navigate this? And like, what is this thing? It was just, big mystery.
Yeah. So, you're a spiritual person, and, again, Dawn and I have talked about the spiritual aspect of our health issues. And so, do you believe that there's a reason from a soul level or a spiritual level for your condition?
I do believe, like in my case, I feel that there was a reason why I was born with this. And I know as souls, we're all here to learn and grow and develop. Actually, when I went into, when I've had Akashic record readings, just doing them on myself and from other people, it has actually come up that I actually gave this to myself because apparently I was a witch in a past life and I did some not so nice things. So it's almost like my soul is still sort of carrying like this, this karmic ties, that's almost this guilt or that kind of thing of things that were done in a past life. So I gave this to myself almost as like punishment. It's almost like, back in the day, witches were kind of like outed or kind of like, sort of put in the pedestal for punishment. It's almost like, well, this is physical. I've got tumors growing all over my body, like externally. So it's almost like it's, like it's out there sort of punishing myself. But from whether you want to call it, God or creator, spirit, I was told that I was given this because I could handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I prefer to go with that one more than, that I'm punishing myself. And that is something too I've been working on, is like any sort of past life guilt or that kind of stuff just kind of ties with. But I was told that I was given this because I can handle it, and I was meant to help and educate people on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I bet you reached a lot of people with your article.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I did. Yeah, I really wanted to.
And in it, you talk about how before, when you hadn't discovered maybe why you have it or what you can do with it, it actually held you back from your true calling.
It did, yeah. For so long, it's almost felt like, I always felt from such a young age that I wanted to try and help make a difference in this world, and I really wanted to help and support others with healing and finding their way and connecting to their magic. But then I was like, why is someone going to come to me? It's like, I've got this condition, I've got these tumors like growing all over my body, and I've even had experiences where people would ask me like, are you contagious? They see something, but they don't understand it. You can see why maybe they'd question that, but it still hurts. I'm like, well, then why is someone going to come for healing if people think I'm contagious? Or, I've had people that would, sit next to me in a bus, and, the summertime, the tumors can flare up, and they'd see that it's all flared up, and they would, like, get up and move to another seat.
Yeah.
So I'd go through all these experiences that I'd go home and be crying, or I'd be texting my husband, Ivan from Rebel Star Tarot, and so, yeah, I just struggle with who's going to come to me? Who's going to want healing for me? Because I've got this condition. And I just had such a struggle. So it held me back. I just figured, like, there's no point. Like, why? But I always felt this calling. It was just, like, there, and it was stirring. But I just kept it repressed. Like, I just kept shutting it down and ignored it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But who wants to get advice from someone that hasn't been through some sort of, peaks and valleys and that sort of thing?
It's not as easy to relate to someone who's had it easy, because you don't normally seek out spiritual help unless you're in need of some guidance. And the last thing you want, I think, would be from someone who's had it easy and wouldn't be able to understand
Right.
struggle.
Yeah.
And it actually wasn't too that I finally listened to that calling, that, okay, it's time to listen to your purpose, because actually females with NF are 3 times more likely to develop breast cancer than the average woman. And it actually wasn't until 2019, because I've been using oracle cards and looking into crystals like since I can remember. Like it's always been a part of who I am.
But in secrecy.
Yeah, and it was almost like kind of like in a woo-woo closet kind of thing. And even like certain friends, like I felt like I couldn't, share it with them, because even too, like back in the 90s when I was into all this stuff, like you were considered like strange if you were into that. Like I always joke, like I still remember the episode from 90210 when Dylan's mom was coming to visit, and everybody's like, oh, Dylan's Cookie's mom's coming, and she's into crystals. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
But so what happened is until, 2019, I went through a potential breast cancer scare, and I actually had to get a lumpectomy. And that's when I was like, okay, this is a universe thing. It's time to move forward. Like, you have this calling to help others out there. Not to just maybe do readings for, like, family and friends, but to actually go out there in the world. And I'm like, okay, that's it. No more hiding. No more, just being afraid of putting myself out there in the world. It's like, now is the time. And that was a huge wake-up call for me to, like, actually try and do professionally create my business.
And I think that that's a point that a lot of people reach. It's either whether it's considered rock bottom, or you have that aha moment, that wake-up call.
Or it's a now or never because
Yes,
of a
a now
health
or
scare.
never,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it takes those it takes them sometimes for us to actually take that leap of faith. Especially, I think if you, I know in my case, it was like, what else have I got to lose? Because I knew that I tried everything else, and yet I hadn't tried the one thing that I was feeling most in my heart, and the other part wasn't working. So I knew that if I just kept going the way that I was going, I knew what was going to happen. But taking that leap of faith and putting yourself out there, it's less scary, I think, when you hit that point.
And that was actually one thing that got me through, because when I was going through this scares, like, do I have breast cancer or not? I was like, I'm not ready to leave. It's like, I've got a purpose in this world, and I'm like, I want to help make a difference in this world. It's like, I am not ready to go.
Yeah, and we hope that this happens to us, and I hope that it happens to you, is that one day we can look back and say, I'm glad I had that health condition, right?
And that I did make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and that it led me to making a difference for someone else, changing someone else's life.
Yeah, well, that article actually had such an effect on me personally because I recently have kind of touched on it a little bit, but I've kind of fallen off my wagon a little, and I've been struggling just my obsessive compulsive and my eating disorder, and when I read your article, and especially about, you know, that moment of you in your bath when you are telling your body you hate it and you're so angry, and then I'm gonna get all teary when you said you love your body, and then it thanked you. Oh, yeah, just made me remember, you know, that I'm not being very kind to myself, and yeah, to be more kind. And then I actually continued to read on and about all the what you do, the rituals, and I loved the love note. I've never done that before. To write a love note, and it was like an apology, like, I'm sorry, I'm angry for being tired, I know you're doing the best you can, you know, I love you, I'll try to nourish you and support you better, right? And I'm like, okay, that's what I needed. And it just, the next day was a completely different day, and I've been getting better ever since. And but yeah, what's that?
So I guess another question would be, what would be your main advice now that you've gone through all of that, for someone that has a health condition, you know, similar to yours or different than yours? What is there any advice in terms of how you navigated that yourself that you could suggest to others?
I think probably the biggest thing would be, which is in relation to the article, is to not be angry at your body.
Yeah.
Because
Like what you were just saying. Yeah.
the reality, you know, like our bodies, it's our home, it's our sacred space for our soul. And, you know, we as souls, we might be here to learn and develop and grow, but we're really not meant to suffer and to feel all this agony. And so it's like, why make ourselves feel worse when we already have the struggle by being so hard on our body? You know, our bodies are working so hard for us to keep us going day after day. And then, yeah, that would be the biggest thing, is just, you know, your body is working for you, not against you, and to just nurture it and to love it. And if you find yourself having those moments, which is understandable, it's only human, where maybe you're getting angry at your body again, just be gentle to it. And again, like, you can write the little love notes to your body, or even just have, you know, like a sacred bath, maybe light some candles, and just really sit in silence and listen to your body and see what your body wants to tell you. Because if you listen, it will tell you what it needs, and it will have messages for you.
Yeah, and I loved in the article that you said, you know, if it doesn't happen the first time, keep trying, you will be able to listen. Yeah, so the article is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think you're amazing.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're out there spreading the word on NF1. And if someone has this condition, is there a community of people, or what do you do for support yourself?
There is actually on Facebook, there is a group called Faces of Neurofibromatosis. It's actually this woman named Libby who started a few years ago, and her main goal was to really get NF out there. And it's an open Facebook group, so anybody can look at it, but it's actually meant the only people who can actually be a part of it has to be people who have NF. And there's a lot of nonprofit groups too, like there is the Neurofibromatosis Society of Ontario, there's one of Nova Scotia, so there's a lot that are across Canada.
Very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was really interesting. I'm so glad you came to talk to us today.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I got a little.
No, it's
But
great.
you made it. It's already making an impact, even for someone who doesn't have NF1, but could take a lot of that.
That was my
article.
hope, that even if the person doesn't have NF, that at least it can resonate, that whatever somebody is going through, that, you know, could just connect to them in some way, and just maybe give them the extra support they need, and just reconnect to the bodies and know that it's here to love and support us.
Yeah, so we will, like I said, have a link down below.
Yeah.
And you are still doing oracle card readings.
I am.
And you do the Hermit
the
and
Hermit and High Priestess.
Yes, reading with your husband.
Which
So
is
cool.
always fun to do.
Yeah,
That's
like
my
that is-
favorite.
yeah.
Of all the offerings.
That one's really cool.
Yeah, that's
Tarot
fun.
and oracle together.
And then runes too.
And now
Yeah.
runes, yeah. Like, yes, you got to check those out.
We'll put links to all of that Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your website is?
It is wisdomwithinthewinds.com
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
And then you're on Facebook
and Instagram as
and
well.
Instagram as well. So we will make sure everything is linked down below. Check out the article. Check out your website with all of your cool options for all the readings that you do. And just thank you and keep up the good work because
Thank you.
it's making a difference.
Yeah. And if you like this video, please give us the thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another episode.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you again.
Okay.